Hey guys, welcome back to Talktechtive. My name is Rishi, and today we'll be taking a deeper look at the Nothing Phone 4a. In fact, you know what this device reminds me of? Back in 2021, when I wasn't creating content, and I really wanted the OnePlus 9RT, which was newly launched. It had a great display. This has a great display. It had good haptics that I was a big fanatic for. This has great haptics. It had a good build quality with glass back, glass front, and the metal plate around the camera. There's an aluminum sheet on the camera here. And just a great experience overall with the device itself. And you know what? In that way, it's an easy recommendation. Be like, yeah, just go for it. Don't think twice. Because you will get a good deal out of the phone, especially at 32,000 Indian rupees. It's a great device. But what's the fun in that? Let's dive a bit deeper into the device and figure out exactly what the Nothing 4a brings to the table. Let's keep aside things from the past for a moment and focus on what Nothing offers a unique experience in. The unboxing. This phone comes with a rather thick box, which is just got the footprint of the phone itself. But as soon as you open it, you're greeted with this welcome message, which feels so inviting because you feel like you're a part of a family or an ecosystem rather than just any other generic unboxing where the phone is presented to you face first. Sure, it's a product, it's a commodity, and you need to see the phone first, but this is a nice little touch that I hope that Nothing keeps doing as we're going forward. We have the top half of the unboxing where we have the case itself and the charging cable and the SIM ejector tool inside. And the phone is revealed to you in a nice cover with the camera bump exposed, so you get to see the aluminum housing. This is a very good unboxing experience, honestly. It gets you excited, it keeps you happy, and it's consistent throughout. Now, in this review, I'll be covering stuff like display, performance, battery, and stuff real soon in the beginning, and then going into Nothing 4a exclusive features towards the end. I have spoken a bit about this in my first impressions video. If you want to get a quick glimpse through whatever is different from the Phone 3a and the Phone 3 series, you can go check that out first, and then come back and watch this, yeah? The design is way more Nothing than most of the devices that they've released in the past. It has a blend of like metallic, plastic, and glass elements, which honestly, considering all the different materials that has been used, has been done quite well. It has an aluminum housing around the camera, and you can see a little plate underneath the glass itself. And then it has, I think it's supposed to be metal buttons and the plastic railing itself. And it's a glass back and a glass front device. So it's a pretty solid build quality and it looks fantastic. I got a few questions on my Reddit AMA that I did that you can go check out if you're a Reddit user. The main question that I found interesting was the fact that does the black reflect a lot, or can you actually see the details in the back? I think you can make out for yourself through this, but it is quite beautiful. It does reflect in like broad daylight and sunlight, but they've done a good enough job with making it a deep enough black that you can still see elements with the depth, and you can actually see shadows being cast onto black itself, which is quite interesting. And I didn't think that this would be something that smartphone manufacturers would have to look into when making their own devices. Depths and shadows in the back of the device under the glass. The Nothing Phone 4a features the Snapdragon 7s Gen 4 chipset. This combined with LPDDR4X RAM, along with UFS 3.1 storage, which was much required compared to the UFS 2.0 in the Phone 3a, it gives a solid performance from the phone. Especially with Nothing's new animation engine, which comes out with NothingOS 4.1, the phone feels very smooth for day-to-day tasks. The performance is so impressive that I just had to try running AnTuTu with the Phone 3. I tested both of the devices on AnTuTu version 11.0.9 in a room that was set to around 22 degrees Celsius. The results were quite nice actually. This phone, the Phone 4a, secured 1.15 million as a score in AnTuTu, while not getting too hot at all. In fact, it was way more comfortable than I thought it would be, and I could just hold it in my hand as the test is running. The point I'm trying to get to here is the fact that this phone costs 1/3 the cost of the Phone 3, while being so good. In fact, I'll speak a bit more about it when I come to the display segment, where I'll be showing off a game as well. Before I hop into the game stuff, you might be wondering about the battery performance, because I just spoke so highly about the performance of the phone itself. It must be sucking up a lot of juice, right? Guess what? Not really. This device comes with a 5300 mAh lithium-ion battery in India with 50 watts of wired charging support and 7.5 watts of reverse charging support. There is no wireless charging, but hey, You'd rather always go with a wire and get more efficient power than to heat up the device and slow charge it. The global variant has a 5080 mAh battery. You should more or less receive very similar performances across the variants. The main point to note here is that idle drain has been optimized very rigorously. It is so good that I'm able to use this as a 2-day device. In fact, I had 9 hours of screen on time and 1.5 days of standby on this device, and it still kept going. I could charge it on Monday morning and then go through Tuesday night and charge it back on Wednesday morning. And that says a lot. I do, of course, use my laptop a lot as well, but the fact that it still gave me 9 hours of screen on time with that long of standby time says a lot about NothingOS and the hardware behind it. Alright, let's talk about the display on this device. It features a 6.78-inch 120Hz AMOLED display, which is LTPS technology. This means that it can only go down to about 30 Hz and always on display, and 60 Hz is the least that it can go down to when you're trying to save battery, for instance. Though this does not mean that it's not any good of a display. It's a very vibrant 1.5K resolution display, which does wonders when you're watching movies or playing games. Here, let's take a look at Brawl Stars, for instance. I did notice one thing, that in the lobby, I only got 60 Hz, that is 60 frames per second, and the display was refreshing 60 times. And I was like, hold on. I have been informed that this device is supposed to give 120 Hz in BGMI. So I would expect similar performances in maybe other games too. But right as I hopped into a game, the display switches up to 120 Hz. And there you go, you get higher frame rates. And it is a very smooth experience. It is a beautiful display to look at, which gets comfortably bright even in outdoor environments. Nothing says that this device can reach up to 1600 nits of brightness and 4500 nits of peak brightness, though honestly the number that really matters is 1600, and it's very comfortable to use in broad daylight, as I mentioned. NothingOS is already quite a versatile skin. In fact, it's a whole operating system now because of the Essential Suite that I'll be getting back to later. But the main thing is, there are new features in NothingOS 4.1 that you'll be getting with the 4A right out of the box. First off, you get breathing widgets. It's a quite nice addition because the melody in the breathing widgets is very calm and soothing, so it ends up working even if you don't follow the pattern. That's a little addition. Another little addition is the fact that you can change lock screen styles. The clock itself can be made smaller or put to the left side, etc. Following this, there's a better integration of essential apps in the widget sheet itself. As soon as you pull up the widget sheet now on the phone, you can swipe left and get a recommended section of essential apps, along with all the other apps that you've downloaded in the past if you want to bring back one. Essential Notifications UI has been reworked a little. On the top, it says a one-liner which explains exactly what triggers and when. This makes it way more easier to realize what rule you put up in Essential Notifications. Also, we have generative ringtones now that was exclusive to the Phone 3 series, and eventually this could lead to pattern recognition and you could just see the back of the phone and realize who's calling. Not to forget, there's also the new Phone 3 Community Edition lock screen, which I'm personally using on my device. I think it just looks really clean how that animation works. There are a bunch of new camera improvements as well that I'll be getting back to later though. Speaking of the Essential Suite, there's the Essential Space, of course. That's the main focus and the highlight. Essential Space has got an update recently where there's a For You tab, and whatever notes and events that you set up for yourself show up there separately as compared to everything else that you save up using Essential Space. Let me show you an example live. Remind me to upload this review in a day or so. And there you go, it just gets saved like that. I double tap the Essential key to open up Essential Space, and if you just wait for it to analyze the voice memo, the For You section has that task for me, and the rest of it is in my library. This classification makes it way easier to understand what you're working with, what you've saved up over time, and it's a good categorization, honestly. Essential Space also includes Essential Recorder, which is fantastic. I literally use it every single time my friends and I are having a long discussion about something important, or there's a meeting going on. It could be a project discussion, or it could be a high-level meeting where you just make sure you ask permission, of course. But the point is, it does a great job of not only transcribing exactly what you wanted, but also AI summarization is clean and on point. Also, you're able to share it as a PDF, a voice memo, and text file even, which is fantastic. But the whole point is the fact that you're able to save this entire discussion on a voice memo, a transcription, and an AI summary. Essential Recorder is just a deal breaker, honestly. It is difficult to move to other phones after using a Nothing phone because of Essential Recorder. It is such a good feature. The Glyph interface is much more refined now. It's not just like a strip of light. In fact, that was quite nice to look at, but this is way more functional. You can see how it has like these 6 bars of separate lighting plus the recording light, which is a nice new addition. But the main point is, this is way more functional than the Glyph interface on previous Nothing phones, at least in my experience. The 6 bars makes it easier for pattern recognition. You're able to quickly realize what notification is from whom. You can obviously have custom ringtones, or you can have one of the classic ringtones, which have pre-made patterns, which are still quite nice, and they also sound nice. Nothing has always been on the top of this with introducing the Glyph interface as one of the main selling points because it is quite unique, and I don't see many companies putting lights on the back of their phones and actually pulling it off really well. The same goes for notifications alongside ringtones. You can have custom ones, or you can use one of the preset ones from Nothing. There's Flip to Glyph, which now has vibrate or silent. That is a nice new addition. I would like to use my phone face down, but I wanted to vibrate as well so I know when there's something going on. There's a volume indicator, so that makes just life a bit more easier if you're keeping your phone face down. There's a Glyph timer and the Glyph progress bar, and especially now with Android 16's live notification updates, Glyph progress works much better. Fortunately, for the fact that it is a pretty bright interface, there is bedtime mode, so in the night you can set it up so that it turns off. I usually have it to turn off at around like 11 p.m. and turn back on at 7 a.m. So that doesn't really bother you throughout the night. Speaking of the cameras, it has a 50 megapixel 1/1.57 inches main sensor tucked away in one corner, and the other side has a periscope lens at 80mm focal length, which is a 1/2.75 inch sensor. Ultra wide in the center, which is 1/4 inch sensor, so it's an 8 megapixel small sensor that doesn't really do a great job when you try to look into details, but for an ultra wide shot, it's plenty enough to be honest. The main sensor has a minimum focus distance of 15 centimeters, so you can get really close to subjects and take good macro shots. The community has taken some fantastic shots, and I would suggest going over to Nothing community and checking it out. The periscope sensor, however, does not have a good minimum focus distance. It's at 40 centimeters, so you're not going to be taking any macros with that. But that does mean you're getting good zoom shots because it starts at 3.5x, and there is an in-sensor cropping of up to 7x. That basically means that you get full optical quality for 12 megapixels, I think that's bin down, up to 7x, and then up to 70x it's all digital cropping. To be honest, it's quite usable up to 20x and even 30x, but beyond 30x, you're looking at very grainy, very fuzzy photos. If you really want that shot, if you really want to zoom in that much, it gets the job done. But if you're looking for details at that level of zoom, not here. The front sensor is also a bit different this time. It's a 32 megapixel sensor compared to the 50 megapixels. And since megapixels don't really count, you can't really consider that. It is a 1/3.42 inch sensor. So even that is a pretty tiny sensor. So the selfies are good quality, but they're not anything close to being great. They're decent and they get the job done. What about videography though? The back cameras can go up to 4K 30 FPS, except for the ultra wide that goes up to 1080 pixels only. Bit of a bummer, but it's fine. You might as well just record with the main sensor and have OIS, which is a big addition. And this is the quality on the main sensor running at 1080 pixels and 60 FPS. You know what? With all these colors, you can be a judge of how it looks. And the front camera can record up to 1080 pixels at 30 FPS, so for vlogging and all of that content, it gets the job done just fine. Now we're going to be testing the selfie camera, and this unit can record at 1080 pixels and 30 FPS. Let me know what you think of it. Let's keep aside the hardware for a minute and talk about software. Nothing has optimized their camera software really well recently. They've added video presets. And I had this question on my Reddit AMA of someone asking me whether presets are like just filters. Actually, they're similar to filters, but not really. They let you put custom LUTs, so you're able to have like color grading and all of that effect that you can just directly import onto your device. This is a game changer, honestly, and I'm surprised that no other smartphone manufacturer thought of this before. Video presets make it easy to record cinematics on the go, and if you're a content creator, you will really appreciate the fact that you can do this with videos now. It had come to photos first a year ago with the phone 3A series, and that blew everyone away. People really liked presets. It's like such an easy way to capture a vibe in the moment, and you can just quickly swipe across your settings and choose whatever you want. In order to capture this vibe, the Indian variants get an RCB watermark, which is really cool, and also an extra set of new watermarks has been released to all Nothing devices now with the newest gallery update. The watermarks are fantastic, ranging from anything like a binocular all the way to like a frame-in-frame that I personally really love. It gets to show off your phone and, you know, your own photography skills in a different perspective as well. Let's talk about a bit of the extras and the perks of this device. The transparent design is fantastic, the lock screen widgets are fantastic, and the haptics are so good. It's so well rounded and tuned that it doesn't feel very clunky, it just feels satisfactory to use this device. Speaking of the speakers, however, it gets loud enough, it's good. It could be better with tuning. If you use an app like Wavelet for equalization, you can obviously make it better for yourself. Going back to what I said about the OnePlus 9RT, this feels like one of the best mid-rangers you can pick up right now. At 32,000 Indian rupees, and I think a few bank offers on Flipkart, especially in India, it's a fantastic deal. And thank you for watching. If you liked the video, if you felt like it was informative, do hit the subscribe button. And if you have any feedback, any questions, you can always drop it in the comments below. I'm always open to listening and improving. And I love the fact that there was so much support and comments on the previous video. I've tried to read every single one of them and answer them. So thank you for that. And I'll see you in the next video.